story. On a recent weekend in Atlantic City, a woman won a bucket full of quarters at a slot machine. She wanted to take a break from the slots for dinner with her husband, and so in the hotel dining room. But first she wanted to stash the quarters in her room. So she told her husband that she was going to go to her room to drop the quarters off, and then she would be right back for dinner. As she was about to enter the elevator, she noticed two men already aboard. Both were black. One of the men was tall, very tall, an intimidating figure. Panic consumed her. Fear immobilized her. Her first thought was, these two are going to rob me. Her second thought was, oh, don't be a bigot. These look like perfectly fine gentlemen. But racial stereotypes are powerful, and fear immobilized her. She stood and stared at the two men. She felt anxious, flustered, and ashamed. She couldn't just stand there. So with a mighty will of effort, she lifted one foot, stepped forward, and followed by the other foot, and was on the elevator. Avoiding eye contact, she turned around stiffly and faced the elevator door as they closed. A second passed, and then another second, and then another. Her fear increased. The elevator didn't move. Panic consumed her.
Oh no.
Oh no, she thought. I'm trapped on an elevator and about to be robbed. Perspiration poured from every pore. She didn't know what to do. Then she heard one of the men say, hit the floor. Immediately, she decided to do what her instinct told her to do. She threw the bucket in the air, threw her arms out, and fell and collapsed on the elevator floor. Moments passed. Then she heard one of the men say politely, ma'am, if you'll just tell us what floor you're going to, we'll push the button. He was trying mightily to hold in a belly laugh. She lifted her head up to the man, and they reached down to help her up. Confused, she struggled to her feet. When I told my friend to hit the floor, what I meant to say was to hit the elevator button for our floor. What I didn't mean, ma'am, was for you to hit the floor, literally. He spoke genially. He bit his lip. He, too, was trying not to laugh. The woman thought, oh no, what a spectacle I've made of myself. She was too humiliated to speak. How do you apologize to two perfectly fine gentlemen who you were acting as though they were about to rob you? She tried to make an apology, but words failed her. Then they picked up the strewn coins and they helped her up and refilled her bucket. When the elevator arrived at her floor, they insisted on walking her back to her room. She was a bit unsteady on her feet, and so they thought she might not make it down the hallway. At the door, they bid her a good evening, and when she slipped inside, she could hear them roaring with laughter as they headed back to the elevator. She pulled herself together, took a deep breath, and brushed herself off, and went back down for dinner with her husband. The next morning, flowers were delivered to her room. A dozen roses. Attached to each rose was a crisp $100 bill. The note read, thanks for the best laugh we've had in years. It was signed, Eddie Murphy and Michael Jordan.